Well, good evening, everybody. So honored to be here tonight with you all, and we know that Polk County, we have a lot of work to do here too, but I have confidence. I have confidence in the candidates that we have, and you've had an opportunity to hear from them tonight. I've had the opportunity to speak to so many over the phone and to be supportive over the last couple of years. And Alan's right. We had to take our message throughout the entire state and make everybody understand what is on the line here. And what we have seen from 4 years of Donald Trump, what has he done? He's divided our country. He's brought hate and fear into our communities. He has taken an economy that was flourishing for everybody under an Obama-Biden administration. And the only people he's taking care of now is his close friends and allies and the top 1%ers of our country. And how he's handled this pandemic is atrocious, and I don't have to tell you all that. You know, I always tell the story that when I was 9 years old, my parents asked what I wanted to do for my 10th birthday. And I said I wanted to go see the president. I wanted to go to the White House. I don't remember if it was a Republican or a Democrat who was in the White House. That didn't matter. It was about the institution, about the presidency. And that we as Americans looked up to that individual who held that office as a beacon of light and hope, not just for our country, but for the world. And that we may not always agree with the policies of the president, but we stood by them because they were supposed to symbolize the best of America. And what Donald Trump has done to the presidency is an embarrassment. That we have lost our standing not just in the country, but across the entire world. And he has given white supremacists, he's given people that are taught to hate, given them a voice, and given them an idea that it's okay to do what they do, and to not take care of the people. And as he goes and travels the entire country, he talks about how, in fact, the economy is great, and it's fantastic, and it's rebounding. For who? Not for us. Not for us, the workers out there and in the communities, not for the over 30 million people who have lost their jobs, not for the almost 1.6 million here in the state of Florida, to the families that don't know where their next meals are going to come from, where their next paycheck will be. But we have hope. We have hope in the Joe Biden, Kamala Harris administration, who are going to be able to roll up their sleeves, get to work on day one, unifying our country, because we know that we are at our best when we are together and united and working together, making sure that we have an economy that is working for everybody, not just the top 1%ers. And as we talk about the economic recovery, we look at it as a K recovery, meaning that the top 1%ers continue to increase in their net worth, whereas the bottom part of our economy continues to go downwards. And he still has no plan today of how to get through COVID. Both him and Governor DeSantis believes that we have turned the page and that we are learning to live with this. I can tell you, to the over 16,000 families who have lost a loved one during this pandemic, and to our increasing numbers and the people that are in the hospitals right now, they're not learning to live with this. They are learning to live in fear. Parents that are having to put their kids back into school. Teachers who are having to go back to work with no protections, with no ability to make sure that they're safe in the school district. But I know that when we elect Joe Biden, we are going to have an individual who's going to fight for our families, not just for his own. And somebody who understands what it means to have empathy, to listen and to talk to the people, and to hear their stories and want to make their lives better. And I have a perfect example of why we love Joe Biden and why we know he's going to fight for us. There's unfortunately a woman inside of the Department of Agriculture who is stage 4, who's losing her battle. And she wrote this heart-filled email to her friends and to her family. And at the very end of this email said, I don't care if you're a Democrat, I don't care if you're a Republican, you're an NPA, asking you and begging you as my last wish to please vote for Joe Biden.
Oh my God, no.
And that he's got a health care plan that is going to work for everybody. So we had Joe call him. And I call her, and they had this most in-depth conversation about life, but about promise, and about the future, and how great our country can be. I had the privilege of seeing Vice President Biden a couple weeks ago, and the first thing out of his mouth, how is our friend? That is who Joe Biden is. Joe Biden cares about us. He cares to make sure that we have an economy that's working. He makes sure that we have a healthcare system. That Donald Trump today is in the courts fighting to disrupt and to dismantle the ACA. We are going to fight together. And we know that the path to victory is through the state of Florida. And as I've talked to Floridians all across our state and talked to candidates all the way up and down our ballot, we have the right message. We have the right vision for our state, the right vision for our country. And that message is resonating, not just in Democrats, but also to our independents and to our moderate Republican friends who don't want to wake up every morning and wonder what the president is saying and tweeting about today. Wouldn't it be nice that we have 1 week where we don't think about our president? Where we know that he's up in Washington, D.C. and doing his job, and we're not focusing on his Twitter account. And we're not thinking about him and thinking about what evil messaging is coming out of his mouth that day. And I have faith that we are going to elect Democrats up and down the ballots. And right here in Polk County, you have some amazing, amazing candidates. And you are helping to bring out the Democratic wave throughout our state. And I cannot thank you enough for being out there and fighting amongst the sea of red here in Polk County. But I can tell you that a lot of those red ballots that are being turned in are not for Republicans. They are crossing party lines. And so I ask, as we are getting to elections, make sure, I'm sure all of you, I'm talking to be preaching to the choir right now, that you all have voted and have made a plan to talk to your friends and to your neighbors and to your family members because they are going to do everything they can to suppress the vote between now and Election Day. They're going to do everything they can to be in the court systems to try to take away our rights. But I know that we're going to put enough marks on the board before Election Day, and we are going to win Florida. We are going to take our Senate back. We are going to take back our House. And we are going to turn the page of this horrific chapter under a Trump administration and make sure that we have hope and prosperity and that everybody believes that they have a seat at the table because it is wide enough for everybody. And we will succeed. And we will have a victory here in the state of Florida. And we will regain the hope and the promise of America that our ancestors have built upon, but we have a lot of work to do. And so even after a victory, we have a lot of work to rebuild. And as Joe Biden says and Kamala Harris, we are going to build back better. So thank you for being here today, and thank you for all that you are doing to help turn our state blue.